Hey runners, Tapas here, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a showdown, or should I say a shoedown, between the two most popular daily trainers on the market today. That is the Asics Novablast 5 and the EVO SL. Now this video isn't going to be your usual showdown video. I have a very hard time picking between these two daily trainers. They both are excellent, but in my opinion they're made for very different runners who are at different stages of the running journey. Also, I have reviewed each of these shoes individually, so you can see the full comprehensive review of each one of them on here and here. So I won't be going too much into detail as I normally do. And as always, my disclaimer, I purchased both of these shoes with my own money, so I can give you my honest opinion without being shadow banned by running shoe companies. If this is your first time watching my channel, just want to say hello to a fellow runner. I am a beginner, slow and heavy runner who likes posting my running journey and shoe reviews to help others like myself. If you're able to make it to the end, please consider subscribing and leaving me feedback on what are your thoughts on these shoes or in the video in general. Alright, let's get right into the specs. Let's start from the top and work our way down. The Novablast 5 has a very roomy, comfortable, and breathable upper. They do have a wide fit option, which was perfect for me because that's what I normally wear. The tongue is very well padded and I did not experience any kind of heel slippage. I went true to size, which is 11.5 in the wide for US men's. The EVO SL, on the other hand, has a much more improved and comfortable feeling upper compared to the SL2. They don't offer any wide options, so I sized half a size up to a US men's 12 and it fit perfectly. So also where we have the first issue with the EVO SL, and that is the short tongue. You do have to fiddle with it when you first are putting on the shoes, but once you get it, it's a great fit and doesn't move at all. Moving down to the midsole, the Novablast 5 has a Flight Foam Turbo Max, which is significantly softer than its previous foam on the Novablast 4. The foam provides a great bounce and the right kind of compression for that slow, easy, and long runs, and some fast runs. I personally do like this foam a lot. I will mention here the biggest potential issue with the Novablast 5 is that many runners have reported a loss of bounce with the new foam after about 150 to 200 miles in these. Especially for heavy runners like myself that do compress the foam, that could be an issue. I personally haven't experienced the same thing, but I haven't put that kind of mileage in it yet. But I will update you guys if I do come to find out that it did lose its bounce after a few hundred miles. The midsole on the EVO SL is the previous version of the Lightstrike Pro found in the race day shoe for the Adidas Pro 3. The foam is definitely not as compressive as the Novablast 5, but it's also not a brick. For me, it's a perfect blend of the two. I did notice that the foam did loosen up after the first 50 miles, which is common for the Lightstrike Pro, so it's a great for daily trainer. I use these for my speedier workouts as well as my tempo runs. Finally, the outsole, the Novablast 5 has a much wider base from toe to heel, thus providing good stability, which is great for runners like myself. The biggest letdown is the grip on the Novablast 5. It's not as good as the grip on the EVO SL. I mentioned this in my full review. You will have to be very careful when running in the wet conditions in the Novablast 5 because it does slip a lot. The EVO SL, on the other hand, has a continental grip, which is great, and I had no issues running in wet weather. The shoe is not as wide as Novablast 5, which can lead to some instability for some runners. I did notice that for myself personally. But nonetheless, I did find that it was a little bit wider and better than the previous version, which is the SL2. Final two things on these two shoes, the weight. The Novablast 5 comes in at 287 grams on the left and 286 grams on the right. The EVO SL is lighter at 262 grams on the left and 264 grams on the right. Price-wise, Novablast 5 is cheaper at $140, and EVO SL is slightly more expensive at $150. So what have I been using these two shoes for? The Novablast 5 has become my go-to for the most of my easy tempo and some long runs. I like the bounce the foam provides while still being soft enough that it feels good underfoot. Most of my runs these days are in those categories, so I've definitely been using the Novablast 5 a lot more than the EVO SL. The EVO SL, on the other hand, has replaced my speedier shoes like the ST Trainer V3s and the Zoom Fly 6. The lighter weight and the much more aggressive rocker really help propel this shoe forward in my faster workouts. Yes, it is slightly unstable and I do notice it more when I'm running slower and landing more on my heel, but these are great for faster runs. Now, I'm not going to say that these are just good for speed runs only. They can be used for everything pretty much that most people do, but for overall comfort that I want in the easier runs and long runs, I tend to prefer the Novablast 5. But for those of you who don't need the stability and want the slightly firmer ride, then I would say go with the EVO SL. All right, moment of truth. Who is the winner between these two shoes? As I mentioned in the beginning, these daily trainers are very specific for where you are in your journey. For me personally, I would say I'm going to continue to reach for the Novablast 5 because I like the bounce and the slightly more compressive foam and the wider overall base to provide the stability and comfort. For beginners who are just starting out and just want to get a good shoe that can do everything well, but not great, I would say go with the Novablast 5. Not only is it more readily available, but they're also better sizing options and much more comfortable overall. However, if you are someone who already has some experience and already has a good, easy recovery and long run shoe, I would actually recommend the EVO SL for your daily training. The 2-shoe rotation between those will likely get you through all your runs, especially if you have something like a Novablast 5. I may even go on a limb and say that the 2 shoes together will be a good rotation itself. The only issue you might run into with these 2 shoes is the long runs, where I found that these two do not do well past the 10-mile mark. Well, there you have it, the first ever shoe down on this channel. Let me know what your thoughts are and whether you agree with me or disagree with me in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys always watching, liking, and subscribing on these shoe reviews. I read all your comments and I appreciate every kind of feedback you guys give me. As always, my fellow runners, slow and steady wins a race. I will see you guys next time.